On this Wednesday night, who sent pipe bombs to high-profile Democrats?
But as of now, he is scheduled to...
Often vilified by the right, now targets of violence. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, even CNN.
Excuse me, that sounds like a fire alarm here. We'll keep you posted on that.
What we saw here today was an effort to terrorize. This clearly is an act of terror.
Has the heated political rhetoric in the United States gone too far?
You constantly have a fear, what if something happens, the interest rates go up and I can no longer afford my house.
With rates on the rise, a warning for Canadians to get their debt under control. But are they listening?
And battleground Texas.
Why do you think the race is so close this late in the game?
Well, you know, I'm not sure it is that close.
Could a Democrat really beat Ted Cruz? Paul Hunter on the race that's captured the country's attention and why the United States is actually more divided than ever. This is The Night.
A wave of what appear to be bombs sent to prominent Democrats and their supporters has the U.S. on edge tonight. We'll go through what we know about this fast-moving story, the investigation, how the president is reacting. But first, a look at what happened and where the packages were intercepted. An intense scene outside CNN's New York offices today. The bomb's intended target, former CIA director and CNN contributor John Brennan. Bombs were also sent today to Barack Obama's address in Washington, Bill and Hillary Clinton's home in New York State. One sent to former Attorney General Eric Holder was redirected to the Florida office of Deborah Wasserman Schultz, whose name was on all of the packages. Democratic Representative Maxine Waters says she was sent one too. The FBI hasn't confirmed that yet. All of this comes just 2 days after a bomb was found at the home of billionaire George Soros in suburban New York. And late tonight, we learned that Los Angeles police have evacuated a mail facility over a suspicious package. Reports say it was also addressed to Maxine Waters, but we have no other details right now. We are watching that closely, though. None of the bombs have gone off, but as Ellen Morrow tells us, they still created a great deal of chaos.
I'm going to jump in. There's
a
fire alarm here.
You might have heard it in the background. We're going to find out what the latest is
we'll be right back.
At CNN. We're going to be right back.
But CNN's New York anchors were not right back. They were forced to report on the crude explosive device from the sidewalk.
Additionally, there was an envelope containing white powder that was discovered as part of that original packaging.
Later, Hillary Clinton spoke about the device addressed to her.
It is a troubling time, isn't it? And it's a time of deep divisions, and we have to do everything we can to bring our country together.
All the targets are fierce critics of Donald Trump and favorite punching bags for the president.
But if you want the fake news to finally investigate Hillary Clinton, we'll just have...
This was just 2 days ago, Trump prompting this familiar chant from the crowd. Despite his usual rhetoric, this was Trump's message today.
In these times, we have to unify. We have to come together and send one very clear, strong, unmistakable message that acts or threats of political violence of any kind have no place in the United States of America.
Still, there were several warnings about the divisive political climate in the United States.
It's a time when people are feeling a lot of hatred in the air. And incidents like this exacerbate that pain and exacerbate that fear.
There's been a lot of this going around lately. But we've got to tone down the rhetoric, both sides. Got to see people as opponents but not enemies.
And another sign of the divisive climate came today when some right-wing commentators accused the Democrats of staging a setup of this all being some kind of hoax to change the narrative with the midterm elections less than 2 weeks away.
And Ellen, Donald Trump continued with a rally planned for tonight. What happened there?
Well, before President Trump even arrived, Ian, the crowd was chanting, "Lock her up." But we didn't really see typical Donald Trump tonight. He was somewhat toned down. At one point, he even said, "Do you see how nice I'm behaving tonight?" But he did address what was happening today, albeit in a very interesting way, talking about the need to tone down the rhetoric on both sides, vaguely referencing some of the attacks Democrats make against him. And one usual message we did hear was blame for the media. Have a listen.
The media also has a responsibility to set a civil tone and to stop the endless hostility and constant negative and oftentimes false attacks and stories. Have to do it. Have to do it.
Now, that comment is somewhat ironic given what we're used to hearing from the president himself. We also have a statement from CNN's president, Jeff Zucker, Ian, who said earlier today there is a total and complete lack of understanding at the White House about the seriousness of their continued attacks on the media. The president, and especially the White House press secretary, should understand their words matter. So much more to come in terms of reaction on this story, Ian.
All right, Ellen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's take a closer look at the similarities among these packages. All 6 mailed in manila envelopes with a bubble wrap interior. The FBI confirmed each one had a total of 6 stamps. They're known as forever stamps, meaning you can use them even if the postage rates change. They all had printed address labels. All 6 packages had the same return address, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the name of a Florida congresswoman, though the name is misspelled. Well, let's talk about what an investigation might be looking like right now. We're going to bring in Gil Torres, a former FBI special agent. He worked on the Oklahoma City bombing and the Waco investigations, and he is a hostage negotiator. And Gil, first of all, let's look at how these packages all were sent and arrived around the same time in the same part of the United States. What does that tell you?
Well, I think for the investigators, it's important to note the fact that they were all delivered on the same day, pretty much, and that they were generally in the same geographical area of the country. So I believe and that makes a difference as to where they start looking, and that it'll probably give them at least a hint of information in the sense that the perpetrator may be from the same region.
All of us, of course, immediately noted the similarity among the targets in terms of their politics, prominent Democrats. And so a lot of people are assuming that that is the motive, but you would point out, don't necessarily make assumptions.
Well, I think the investigators don't necessarily key on that. This could be a situation where it was done for that reason, to mask maybe another motive, but it is somewhat premature without getting a little further along in this investigation to really pinpoint what the true motive is here.
We have about 30 seconds left, but I'm curious about the kind of material that investigators already have. All of these packages, I wonder if that is a bit of a treasure trove of material for police to go through.
I think so. I think for the forensics people, for the forensic side of the investigation, that certainly will be a treasure trove. They have plenty of material to go through. They will, in essence, reverse engineer to figure out how it was built, and also what they can find. Maybe hair samples, maybe a fingerprint, maybe sweat. I don't know. Anything that they can get their hands on to move this investigation along.
All right, Gil Torres in Fort Worth, Texas tonight. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Now, Barack Obama and the Clintons have long been subjected to criticism and conspiracy theories, but some of the people on this list have not, at least not to the same degree, though they do have something in common. All have been fierce critics of Donald Trump. All have been denounced by the president. Here's a closer look at the others targeted today and what some might hold against them. As Obama's Attorney General, Eric Holder was criticized by the right for being soft on political intimidation by the new Black Panther Party during the 2008 election. And many conservatives were incensed when he said this a couple of weeks ago.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them.
Former CIA Director John Brennan has made enemies in and out of the White House for his scathing critiques of the president, calling Trump a venal, corrupt liar who will end up in the dustbin of history.
He's drunk on power. He really is.
Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters has drawn ire for calling on her supporters to publicly harass members of the Trump administration, earning accusations of trying to instigate political violence.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd.
And then there's billionaire George Soros. The reclusive liberal philanthropist has been the subject of conspiracy theories for years, from funding left-wing extremists in the United States and Europe to working toward a one-world government run by oligarchs. More recent conspiracy theories include paying people to undermine Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court appointment and bringing the migrant caravan into the U.S. So is there something politically significant about those who have been targeted? We do know that extreme views seem to be on the rise in the United States on both the left and the right, and we wanted to talk to David Frum about this, senior editor at The Atlantic, former speechwriter for George W. Bush, and he's in Montreal this evening. David, we don't know the motive behind this, but after seeing the nature of the packages and who they were sent to, what's your initial reaction?
First, just one of tremendous relief, how fortunate it is that no one was actually hurt. These kinds of mass bombing campaigns have been seen before. We think of the Unabomber, and there have been casualties. Thus far, thank God, no one is hurt. So that's not good news, but it's a relief.
And beyond that sense of relief?
We have seen the President of the United States today deplore this kind of attack, which is normal behavior from the President of the United States, and a welcome change from a long career of inciting violence. The people who have received these bombs have all been very specifically targeted by the President for very personal criticism. Not just the political opponents, but private citizens like George Soros, and not just national figures like the Clinton family, but members of the House of Representatives whom the President has targeted for pretty racialized abuse, like Maxine Waters in the House of Representatives.
So the comments from the President earlier today during the afternoon were the kind of comments you'd hope a president would make in the middle of a crisis, but now what? What do you hope to hear from Trump now?
Well, I don't hope to hear from them, because that would make me a fool to expect anything appropriate from him. I mean, what he did today was he phoned in the bare minimum of what would be said at a moment like this. When you think of the kind of mood of national unity that past presidents, Republicans and Democrats, have found, it's not difficult to deplore wanton attacks on political figures. But President Trump will disappoint. I have no doubt about that.
All right, David, thank you.
Thank you.
Here's what else we're working on tonight on The National. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia speaks publicly for the first time since the kingdom admitted to being involved in Jamal Khashoggi's death.
Plus, finding the best drugs to treat you by getting to know your DNA. We take a look at some new science.
But first, the cost of borrowing money is going up again. The Bank of Canada has raised its key lending rate, making things like mortgages and credit lines more expensive. And there are likely more rate hikes ahead.
And you watch the same data we watch, so it won't be that hard to kind of make some educated expectational guesses around that.
So it's been going on for some time. This is the 5th increase since the summer of 2017, and the 3rd time this year. The rate's gone up a quarter point, but it is now higher than it's been in a decade, sitting at 1.75%. The banks, of course, charge much more than that, and the major ones have already increased their rates accordingly, up a quarter point. So if you've got debt with a variable rate, you're getting hit, you're riding that wave. But even if you locked in at a fixed rate, as Jacqueline Hansen explains, that may just mean trouble is on the way.
Michelle Kennedy is trying desperately to save money so she can put a lump sum payment towards her fixed-rate mortgage when she renews.
You finally get the house, and you constantly have a fear, what if something happens, the interest rates go up and I can no longer afford my house.
The buildup of the Bank of Canada's recent hikes could be a shock to many Canadians. It's already being felt by those with variable rate debt. For instance, the 2 million Canadians who have tapped a home equity line of credit.
If their monthly obligations become higher and higher, they're going to have to make cuts in other parts of their budgets, and it's going to hurt. being good with our money makes us more productive, makes us more
Financial
motivated.
educator Ann Arbor says Canadian Arbor says Canadians need to prepare for higher rates.
Almost stress testing yourself and making sure that you can afford the payment.
That also applies to variable rate mortgages. Before the bank started to hike, the lowest available rate was 1.75%. On a $400,000 mortgage, that's a monthly payment of about $1,600. After today's increase, the lowest variable rate is expected to jump to 2.7%. So that same mortgage will cost nearly $200 more every month. While difficult for some consumers to swallow, interest rate increases are not a bad sign for the economy as a whole.
We should really see these interest rate increases as a validation of confidence in the underlying strength of the economy, not just an attempt to pour cold water on growth.
Still, for Michelle Kennedy, it's enough to keep her up at night.
There is no traveling, there is no fancy dining, there is no luxuries in my life until I get that done, until I renew that mortgage.
If economic conditions stay the same, there could be several more rate hikes to come. And if consumers with debt don't take steps to adapt, there could be much more stress as well. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, now we asked Peter Armstrong to sit down with us to break down these rate hikes, and we heard in Jacqueline's piece 5 increases over the last year and a half. Big question is why?
Well, essentially because the economy doesn't need it, right? If these low interest rates were meant to encourage me and you to borrow money and spend it, we did that, we got out of the hole. Now the economy is chugging along, or at least one narrative in the economy is saying that it's doing so well. There's two, and they're competing. You've got the markets saying one thing, and we saw the TSX have another terrible day today. It's now in official correction territory. It's saying pessimism, negativity wins the day, trade war with China and the US, this long bull run has run its course. If you look at the data, though, they say employment's doing well, jobs numbers are up, wages are finally going up. The NAFTA deal takes a lot of the uncertainty off the table for business investment and exports. And Stephen Poloz has to try to find a way to navigate his way and sort of thread that needle.
And are regular, everyday consumers like you and me getting the signals that hey, now's the time to be responsible? Right,
and that message has been coming for a long time and they weren't getting it. Now it appears they might just be. Retail sales numbers came out this week and showed they're starting to slow. So maybe we're not splurging on that big TV after all and finally trying to get our debt under control. Stephen Poloz talked about how closely they watched each and every individual measure along the way as we got to this point. Let's take a listen.
The debt made us wary from the beginning that, every interest rate move was going to count bigger than it has in the past. And we did some more research and we expanded that in our model. So our model now has 50% more interest sensitivity in it than historically. So we're taking that on board and monitoring how we're doing. And over the last 12 months, the model has done a good job of predicting how people would react. So our confidence is growing that we've got that about right.
And it's funny, that confidence comes because they haven't always had that. The economy hasn't always behaved the way they kind of thought it would.
Right. And we'll have more of your chat with Stephen Poloz tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Peter Armstrong, thanks so much.
You bet.
Some other stories we're following tonight on The National, including the search for vandals who trashed a minister's office in Toronto.
A line has been crossed here, that they've gone too far.
That is Ontario's House Leader condemning whoever broke into and vandalized the office of Labour Minister Laurie Scott. The government announced workplace reforms just hours earlier. They include freezing the minimum wage at $14 instead of bumping it up to $15. The party says Premier Doug Ford and Trade Minister Jim Wilson have also received death threats.
It's important for the future that we settle the rules, but right now we want to settle the rules regarding people that are in an authority position.
So the Quebec Premier is talking about the rules around a ban on religious symbols for some civil servants. The government is looking to expand them, meaning all public servants will be banned from wearing the chador and the niqab worn by some Muslim women. The proposed ban already includes people in position of authority like teachers or police officers from wearing hijabs.
And still ahead on The National, a test that uses your DNA to prescribe more effective drugs. How it works, next.
Plus, a BC man's harrowing encounter with a grizzly caught on camera. He takes us through what happened when the animal charged at him.
And Paul Hunter goes in depth in Texas and meets the Democratic challenger who could unseat Ted Cruz.
This is definitely a state
that's Republican historically, but after seeing someone who's running the way that he is, I feel that I can vote for someone who can change the tide of the state.
It may look like the same old place after a thorough house cleaning, but it's not. At a cost of $5 million, the expanded chamber has entered the television age. It's a technical triumph for the crew who created the broadcast system in half the time the experts considered minimum. They've met today's deadline so effectively, the casual observer will hardly notice the change, at least until he begins to perspire under the hot new lights. These, incidentally, aren't your real MPs, but a group of interested volunteers who sat in when the system got its first trial late yesterday. The 4 automatic cameras are inconspicuous, and even the 4 that are manned for the time being are almost hidden behind curtains. But behind that, the setup looks like your neighbor's garage. Next year, the control room will be moved into a hidden gallery high above the house. But right now, the hands that run the system are in cramped and temporary basement quarters. In here, they choose which of 8 possible pictures will go into Parliament's permanent record and be available to TV outlets for broadcast. There'll be carefully controlled close-ups of the members speaking. Other members, dozing or heckling or chatting or absent, just won't be shown. That could be considered unfair comment or editorializing. In the midst of another shambles in a building some 200 yards away, the sound and picture are recorded. Jammed amidst their tapes and wires and storage cartons are about half of the 30 new people who run the whole recording system. It's here that your television station or network will find the particular question or answer or speech clip it chooses to broadcast to the public. Some think it will change the very way that Parliament works, making performers out of members and TV drama out of serious debate. Likely not, but at the very least it will drastically change what Canadians see and know of the system that governs them.
It may be only a matter of time before you see this at your local pharmacy. DNA tests promising to help you pick the best medications based on your genetics. Health reporter Christine Birak looks at how they're supposed to work and whether they deliver on that very big promise.
It's a very simple test. All we have to do is swab the inside of your mouth.
Donna Gutteridge isn't used to opening up like this in her local pharmacy, but she's hoping this genetic test will explain why pain medications like Tylenol make her nauseous and others don't work at all.
That was simple. Very easy.
Her saliva will be sent to this private lab in Australia for pharmacogenomic testing. It's a relatively new field, probing how certain inherited genes shape our response to certain drugs.
I'm hoping something like this will kind of tell me what works for me.
That's the promise of genetic tests popping up in pharmacies across the country. For about $200 to $300, let us probe your DNA to help figure out the best medication for you. The question is, do the tests deliver?
It's a great starting point to begin to get information about your body and how it handles medications. But, you know, don't consider it the answer as to, you know, absolutely what drug you should be taking.
A great starting point because our genetics can determine whether some people's bodies metabolize or break down certain medications too slowly. The drug can then build up in the body and cause severe side effects, even death. Other people may metabolize the same drug too quickly, eliminating it from the body before it's even had a chance to work. Helpful information, but many factors can affect how we metabolize drugs, including age, gender, diet, or let's say you're taking more than one medication.
They interact with each other, and then they interact with the genes in the liver, and it's just beyond our ability now to disentangle all that.
His lab and others around the world are working on it, but genetic tests are already standard practice in some hospitals, given to patients who are going to take powerful drugs for cystic fibrosis or cancer to predict adverse reactions. The over-the-counter tests say they can do the same thing, but they're not regulated by Health Canada.
The first question I would ask, what happens to my DNA? Are there any third parties involved? Who owns my DNA afterwards?
This pharmacogenomic expert says patients should be asking a slew of questions, from whether the test is evidence-based to who is interpreting the data.
Can I read the report? What happens to the report? Does it go to my healthcare provider? All those questions have to be asked.
Even some pharmacists aren't recommending the test just yet.
It's really early days for us to be thinking about how to use these tests in the community to allow switching and picking of drugs.
But this pharmacist insists ultimately it's up to patients to decide whether they think the test is worth it.
We're trying to do better for the patient, but I don't think we're going to do worse for the patient.
Gutteridge plans to share her DNA results with her doctor to see what she thinks. Christine Birak, CBC News, Stouffville, Ontario.
And still ahead on The National, a case study in the divided United States. Paul Hunter takes us inside one of the country's most closely watched Senate races.
Plus, in our moment, a brand new honor for Canada's unofficial anthem.
Puck goes down the ice, the goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane.
Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game.
We're asking the spirits to come and sing along with us. We are the world that's forgotten.
I think it's important to be a part of change that we want to see. I speak up a lot about issues impacting Indigenous people, specifically Indigenous women.
We are the nation of tomorrow.
When I look into my community's faces and I see the hurt that still exists, and I see the lack of understanding coming back at us, I want to be a part of that education and that dialogue. My goal is to start conversation that we can be a part of and that can leave people feeling empowered and strong and like they're in a healthy relationship on both sides.
My friend, we realize no matter the love, there's just no room for compromise.
Change starts is when we start hearing each other and participating together. And so by writing songs that address these issues, because if we don't acknowledge the past, there's no way we can move into the future.
Stories can take me anywhere, and I couldn't live without it. I took a field trip with my class to a place called the Hopewell Rocks, and it was amazing. I imagined what would happen if two girls were to go in a place like that and to get lost, and maybe they would discover a magic world in there. And that was the basis for my first book, Caligari Cliffs. Stories, they don't care about who you are. They don't care about how your day is. They're always welcoming you into their words and their worlds. And I figured if I can make other people feel that way, I wanted to do that. And this is my second, Sisters of Serena. You guys want me to read from it a little bit? Yeah? The birds were soaring above, and the bushes were shivering with them. The two girls sang and danced in that wild manner, joining the forest and everything in it. I've spoken to kids my age about why I love reading and writing. I like to think I've offered a different perspective to the students who I come and visit. Because for one, I'm showing them that you can do anything even if you're young. And I think if we learn to come closer together to tell our stories for who we are, then we can really connect and work towards a better future.
I'm just taking this gentle makeup remover, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe the makeup off. Makeup artistry has always been a passion of mine. It was almost a way of escapism at times too. We all experience different instabilities and different things that kind of add trauma to our lives, so it was one of the ways that I would cope and would make me feel good. So, I mean, if someone has a nice full brow, it's just emphasizing what you have already. Working with Indigenous youth and women about, I would say when I was 12. So we go out to community and we talk with people and we kind of help uplift them and see what, kinds of things they're struggling with and just try to be there as a support system. You are beautiful and you don't have to have like a ton of makeup. Like you can have fun with it and just play with it. That's like one of the best ways to just approach everything. It means a lot to me that I can use makeup artistry as a tool to connect with Indigenous youth and women, but also help them feel really good and feel beautiful about who they are on the inside and the outside. I do feel this path has chosen me. I'm just happy to be that vessel of helping someone feel good.
I have Down syndrome, and it's the least interesting thing about me.
Of the 9 Republican-held Senate seats up for election this November, you wouldn't think Texas would be among the most competitive, but here we are.
Just 13 days until the U.S. midterms, and all eyes are on a surprisingly close race that has potentially huge implications for who controls the Senate as well as Donald Trump's presidency. Texas last elected a Democratic senator 25 years ago, but Beto O'Rourke is challenging history in his quest for an upset win over incumbent Ted Cruz. In tonight's Dispatch, our Paul Hunter goes deep in the heart of Texas for a close-up look at the incredible political divide.
On a rainy afternoon in Fort Worth, Texas, there's no denying Old West tradition lives on in this state. Just as there's no denying the long-standing enthusiasm here for Republican politicians. Chief among them right now, Ted Cruz. Campaigning hard for re-election to the U.S. Senate with a mix of cowboy hats and those red ball caps in every crowd. The last time he ran, Cruz walloped his Democratic opponent.
God bless Texas!
He's one of the highest profile politicians in America and promotes all things Texas like few others. This contest should be a breeze, but Cruz underlines, even in Texas, his opponents are rising.
On election day, we're going to see record-shattering Democratic turnout. Now, here's the good news. This is Texas. And in Texas, there are a whole lot more conservatives than there are liberals.
Still, Cruz urged his backers to step up their game. Why? Beto. Beto O'Rourke, the upstart Democratic congressman from El Paso who's aiming at the unthinkable, unseating Ted Cruz.
I'm confident that when we see each other not as Democrats or Republicans,
O'Rourke's ads target Texans who want change.
All right, everybody share this. Beto O'Rourke is on a skateboard.
Famously, once videoed of all things skateboarding outside a burger joint. He's the darling of countless in the American media.
I wanted to meet you right away, so thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
O'Rourke has become a contender.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Cruz is ahead in the polls, but only just, even if he downplays the narrow gap.
Why do you think the race is so close this late in the game?
Well, I'm not sure it is that close. We've seen a lot of momentum coming our way, and I think what has changed, so 6 months ago, there was wall-to-wall coverage in the press that was just one puff piece after another about Congressman O'Rourke, and it was all rainbows and puppies, and Kennedy-esque was their favorite adjective, and it didn't discuss any substance.
He's dishonest. It's why the president called him Lying Ted, and it's why the nickname stuck.
The campaign has lately taken a harder edge as the race tightened, battling over illegal immigration, human rights, health care, all of it.
If he wants to insult me and call me a liar, that's fine.
But in an increasingly diverse Texas, O'Rourke's views have energized Democrats, and not just in urban centers. Here, deep in the Republican countryside, where in 2016, 4 of every 5 voters cast ballots for Donald Trump.
So I know they're brand new voters.
Say these women now.
Your vote is your power. Be heard, vote. Yeah, oh, that's good.
The Trump presidency must be curtailed. For the first time in their lives, they've turned political. Here, finishing off a mail-out to prospective voters.
When I put my 4x6 sign up, one of my neighbors came up and he said, what is those? And I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, are those Republicans or Democrats? Doesn't even I said, David, what do you think?
Inspired by O'Rourke, angry at Trump, they're urging fellow Texans to reject Ted Cruz because, in turn, that weakens the president.
We have to do something to stop Donald Trump.
It's time, says Dana Rushing, for Texans to turn away from the party of Cruz and Trump.
I have to, because my grandchildren are going to they're going to know, history is not going to be kind to Donald Trump. And they're going to, when they get older, they're going to say, well, how did y'all let this happen? How could this happen? And they're going to know their grandmother said, it cannot happen. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen anymore.
Can I count on you to go early?
Meanwhile, outside a coffee shop in Dallas, another signal change is afoot. Young people, likewise, getting political.
Are there any issues preventing you from voting? You press on voting issues?
Rafael Zamora is among those who've signed on with a group called JOLT, supporting voters in Hispanic neighborhoods.
Democrat? Yeah, Democrat. Okay. No Republican? No, not Republican. Pues él viene aquí.
Aimed at reversing the typically low turnout rate for Hispanics on election days.
I just came to drop off this flyer for the November 6th election, and these are the representatives that Joel supports.
For Rafael, a U.S.-born son of Mexican immigrants, the midterms will be the first time he's ever voted. His message to others like him, a key constituency for O'Rourke.
If you're a young Latino, get out and vote because your vote really counts.
It's a view driven by distaste for Donald Trump.
What do you think of Trump?
I think he's racist and biased towards types of people, types of ethnicities. He is our president, so I do respect him, but I do not agree with his political views or his moral values.
And yes, he's voting for Beto. It's been that kind of year for Texas Democrats.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everybody.
Indeed, it was 9 months ago that CBC News first caught up with Beto O'Rourke at this low-key breakfast fundraiser in suburban Dallas. Who knew?
So there is hope that we can do something.
One of the organizers back then was Shonda Parbu.
Let me see if I can scan your card.
These days, Shonda helps out at events significantly larger, such as this one in the Dallas parking lot last weekend.
Get people to sign in when they come.
Amid what some call Beto mania.
We're bursting at the seams. Like, there is a fever that I can't.
Shonda can hardly describe it. Huge crowds, not just at the rallies, but throngs waiting for even a glimpse of O'Rourke afterward.
And then we were trying to find a way for him to leave the venue, and there were like 100 people in the parking lot. It was like paparazzi just waiting for him with their cameras. I just started crying because I was like, oh my God, we've just burst into another universe.
And when O'Rourke takes the stage in that parking lot, there's no doubt these Texas Democrats, long dormant in this state, all want to believe this is their chance. He's their guy.
I know we're up to this challenge. I know we are a match for this moment because I feel it from you tonight. I felt it every single day on the trail.
He's pro-choice, anti-border wall, wants tougher gun laws and universal health care.
The choice before us right now could not be more clear.
Thank you. All that said, he may not win, but don't tell that to anyone here. They can almost taste it.
This is definitely a state that's Republican historically, but after seeing someone who's running the way that he is, I feel that I can vote for someone who can change the tide of this state.
I think we're ready. We're ready for that change. We want that change, and I think we're all ready for it.
As for O'Rourke, indeed, in it to win, he told us just before running on stage, he welcomes the craziness.
Insanity of all of this, you know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't seem insane to me. It's just as powerful and as beautiful and as amazing as it gets in the face of some real challenges and some real disappointment and darkness for some, to respond to that with this, which is not anger, not despair, but a commitment and a resolve to come through for this country.
Ladies and gentlemen, your United States Senator,
Ted Cruz.
And so it was amid all that this week that Ted Cruz came to Houston as a guest star in a mega rally staged by Cruz's not-so-secret weapon.
God bless President Donald Trump.
Indeed, the crowd cheered Cruz, but they're here for Trump. And so when he stepped out, the adulation, it seemed, was as big as Texas. The key moment for Cruz, who was allowed for just a moment into Trump's powerful spotlight, this one. Approval in front of thousands. And what's more,
Ted's opponent in this race is a stone-cold phony.
Some good old trash talk aimed straight at O'Rourke.
And he pretends to be a moderate, but he's actually a radical, open borders left-winger. That's what he is.
Trump knows his word here is gold. And so while he talked of tax cuts, illegal immigrants, America first, and fake news, he also urged Texans to vote for Ted Cruz.
And I'll tell you what, nobody has helped me more with your tax cuts, with your regulation, with all of the things that we're doing.
And you bet on this night they heard him loud and clear.
Electrifying. Electrifying. He's, he knows how to move an audience.
It was great. I mean, that just was really the thing that we needed to get us all pumped up. I mean, and just really ready for this election.
I'm a first-time voter. Only Trump asked me to vote, so I just registered. I'm 53 years old, and it'll be my first time ever voting in my life.
And how are you going to vote?
Trump, Cruz, Republican, of course.
Will it be enough? Will it keep Democrats at bay yet again in this state? And will it underline for the world that Trump remains a force in this country? Say Democrats to all of it, now emboldened and unafraid. We'll see.
And Paul Hunter joins us from Houston. Now, Paul, that race in Texas has Democrats, clearly daring to hope for success in the midterms. But how much is the division you saw in that state a microcosm of the mood across the United States generally?
Well, that's the big question, and it's a particularly important one today with these pipe bombs being mailed to politicians, It's not just a divide here, it's a chasm, right? I mean, it's complicated having a conversation with a stranger. There's a dance that goes on, right? You need to kind of suss out what the politics of the person is because the conversation could turn ugly fast unless unless you're careful. And it's like that with the two sides, with the Republicans and the Democrats. At that Trump rally that we went to, for example, it's interesting. I had a lot of great conversations beforehand. It was a great vibe. It was warm and people were engaged with us. And then Trump walked out, right? And then the fake news and the crowd, the tone changed, right? The booing, the lock her up, all this kind of stuff. Because they really believe that stuff when riled up for it, but it's just under the surface, and it's like that everywhere. Growing up in Canada, Adrian, I don't know about you, but I always thought of America as being America first in the sense that everybody feels American kind of together, you know what I mean? Now it's America first, which we hear a lot from Trump, obviously. It's America first my way or America first my way. There's no middle ground, and it's ugly, and the midterms, it's not going to end that. It's a complicated time down here.
No, so much more to see. Paul, thanks very much.
Next on The National, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince speaks publicly for the first time since the kingdom admitted to its involvement in the death of Jamal Khashoggi. We'll take you there.
But first, a quick look at a story I'll bring you later this week, right here on The National.
Take a look around you. The modern world is literally built out of concrete. It's everywhere. But the concrete industry has a problem. Making it pollutes a lot. 7% of the world's CO2 emissions link back to a single ingredient in concrete. But what if you could trap those emissions back inside the concrete forever? A Canadian company may have found a way to do it and make stronger concrete while it's at it. That's this week on The Fix.
as a 5-year-old child, you walk into the school and you see so many other children crying. And then you have the older children come to you and tell you not to cry because it's going to get worse. But to walk up those stairs and to hear this woman speaking like English and telling me, like, get in that shower, wash yourself, wash everything off, take that brown, wash off that brown skin. And there was soap, I don't know what kind of soap it was, but it burned. Like, I remember the burn and the scrubbing and cry, like wanted to cry because it hurt.
And she said
wash until you take all your brown skin off, because God doesn't like brown skin. So I'm really, I tried. I grew up hating the color of my skin. I wanted to be white. I was broken inside, like thinking, how can I make that change to be accepted in society? To go to public school and to be ridiculed because you're Indian, or the names that were given to you. And I never had the knowledge of how to stand up and say, this is my brown skin and I'm proud of it. American Indian movement was, there was a stand in Wounded Knee, and they were standing up for what they believed in, is equality and justice. And I said, I want to be like them. And I finally was able to put my hair in braids. I actually put a feather in my hair just going to school, and it was just standing up for what I believed in. I felt like I made a statement, and this is who I am, and you can't hurt me with that anymore. And you can call me any names you want. I am Dakota, and I'm proud of it. And I will stand, like I will stand up for my family. I was a single mom the first time, and it was always her and I. And I made a promise to her that she will never have to feel that she's not worthy.
This reconciliation process, will that make a better world for her, do you think?
Yes, I pray it does. I pray that people find some type of peace within themselves to help us to open their own hearts, so that we can start working together.
Today is a day when politicians stop talking and listen, and really listen, and Winnipeggers will have their say tonight.
And tonight, CBC is projecting Brian Bowman will remain the mayor of Winnipeg. He has just been declared the winner in the municipal election, taking in 53% of the vote. It's not just city leaders being voted on tonight. Some municipalities are also deciding whether to allow retail cannabis stores.
It's nothing but stupidity to open up Portage and Main.
We have to go underground and then walk around just to get to where over there.
And clearly one major issue in Winnipeg is whether to open the iconic intersection of Portage and Main to pedestrians. They have been banned there since 1979, when an underground concourse was opened. CBC is also projecting that to be a no vote, with 66% of voters wanting to keep it closed. And after 3 years of debate, a bill to ban whales and dolphins from being kept in captivity has passed in Canada's Senate. It aims to stop breeding so animals in captivity would be phased out over time. The main targets are Marineland in Ontario and the Vancouver Aquarium. Marineland is against this bill, claiming it would wipe out attendance and hurt conservation efforts, while the aquarium has said it will no longer display whales and dolphins after continued protests. The bill will go to the House of Commons next May.
Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince spoke publicly for the first time today since the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Mohammed bin Salman called it a heinous crime that cannot be justified. But as the CBC's Thomas Daigle tells us, he quite plainly avoided any mention of the international suspicion that he was the one behind it.
Strange times in Saudi Arabia. The Crown Prince under suspicion for Jamal Khashoggi's killing, showing up today beside the Lebanese leader he was once accused of kidnapping. The message at this investment conference in Riyadh: ignore that criticism abroad. Mohammed bin Salman is here to stay.
Actually, they're investing and we are investing in Bahrain. Yeah.
Exactly. Cracking jokes. Fully at ease despite the turmoil surrounding him. Stopping only once to address Jamal Khashoggi's murder. The crime was really painful to all Saudis and to every human in the world, he said. Prince Mohammed vowed the perpetrators would be brought to justice, distancing himself from the hit squad sent to Istanbul, some believe on his orders.
The key for Mohammed bin Salman right now is to still show that he is in control, that he's undeterred. Like any good mafia boss, you always make sure that the guys on the ground take the fall.
Turkish investigators continue searching for clues inside that consulate, even in a well behind the Saudi consul's residence. 18 Saudis are under arrest, and so far they're the only suspects Western powers can punish.
If these individuals currently have visas, those visas will be revoked today.
The Turkish president today vowed there will be no cover-up, pointedly calling out all those responsible, starting with those who ordered the murder. In Riyadh, far from the finger-pointing, investors seemed impressed. For the Crown Prince, that's a win. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, London.
Next on The National, our moment, and feel free to sing along. The hockey song is going to the Hall of Fame.
Where players dash with skates aflash, the home team trails behind.
But they grab the puck and go bursting up, and they're down across the line. They storm the crease like bumblebees. They travel like...
But first, in case you missed it, a man's harrowing encounter with a grizzly bear.
She's charging. Oh, God. Oh, no.
It happened in Bella Coola. That's about 420 kilometers northwest of Vancouver. Lawrence Michalchuk says while he was on vacation, bears moved into his yard. He has small kids at home, and he wanted to scare those bears off his property. So he fired a couple of warning shots.
And then instead of shooting, because they only had one shot left, I just yelled at her. And she put her head down, ears back, and come racing back at me. And, you know, I knew I was in trouble, and I couldn't get back in the house.
Oh, God.
He said he didn't want to hurt the bear, so he aimed at her right leg.
It tripped her. And then she got up and then bit my shoe. And that gave me enough time to try to get under the deck and into the house. Last thing I remember, she was coming out with her mouth open.
Michalchuk says the bear wasn't hurt because he was using small shells that you'd use to hunt birds or small animals. Even so, he's getting a lot of backlash from people online.
For people to say, well, what are you doing going out there putting yourself in danger? Well, I'd rather have myself in danger than my kids in danger.
Hello out there, we're on the air. It's moment time tonight. Wasn't quite sure how to read that line, but the last part aside, and Andrew's laughing at me, by the way, you probably recognize the lyrics. Stompin' Tom Connor's iconic song has become a hockey anthem. If you hear laughter, it's him. Now, today it was announced the hockey song would be inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, and to celebrate this, we took to the streets of Toronto and asked fans to sing it for us. Their renditions are our moment of the day.
Hello out there, we're on the air.
It's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice.
The goalie jumps, and the players bump, and the fans all go insane.
Someone roars, Bobby scores, it's a good old hockey game.
Oh, the good old hockey game, it's the best game you can name.
And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Second period.
Where players dash with skates to flash, the home team trails behind.
But they grab the puck and go bursting up, and they're down across the line.
They storm the crease like bumblebees, and they travel like a burning flame.
We see them slide the puck inside. It's a 1-1 hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name.
And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Okay, well, thank you for the earworm, gang. You know how you always wonder, what did people intend for a song when they write it? It seems that when he wrote that way back in 1971, he wanted it to be the anthem it is. He wrote it imagining he was in an arena, so it took a long time, but he got there.
It is a song that you cannot listen to and not smile, right? It is just one of kind of, it's like skipping down the street. You can't be sad while you're skipping. You can't listen to that song and not smile.
So it's a night to celebrate that song, but it's also a night to celebrate Stompin' Tom, who died a few years ago. So from Skinner's Pond, PEI, to Tillsonburg, Ontario, we can salute a great Canadian singer and songwriter. That is the National for Wednesday, October 24th. Good night.
Good night.